Hello and welcome to another episode of Frogs Hollow TV. My name's Toby Cooper, and joining me once again from sunny Gunnedah is Geordie Batchelor. How are you, mate?
Yeah, going well, Tobe. Down here at work again, mate.
Yeah, it's got you good, but we'll make it work for another week of Frogs Hollow TV. We have a lot of events to catch up on this week, Jord, so we'll jump straight into it. First up, we'll take a look back at round 3 of the New South Wales Offroad Championship held down at Colo Park last month, and it was Tamworth's Chrissy Holgate getting his first outright victory in wet conditions, and yeah, it was good stuff from Chrissy Holgate.
Yeah, finally a breakthrough win for him, mate. He's been up there pretty close for the last probably 12, 18 months now, but finally got the breakthrough win. And I was actually talking to him last swing down here at work, and he said that him and Dixon were sort of back and forth all weekend, but it's good to see him come home with the goods.
100%, yeah. Unfortunately, Tommy Dixon was 6 seconds ahead going into that last section. I think he did pull a bit away from Chrissy Holgate there going to the last lap. He was only literally 2 or 3 Ks from the finish and snapped an axle. So very unlucky break for Tommy Dixon going back-to-back at Colo, but just wasn't to be. But Braden Merrick and Nathan Shivers finished 2nd and 3rd down there. But the old heavens opened up Saturday night, George. It looked pretty damp on Sunday morning.
Yeah, she looked pretty wet underfoot down there, mate. And it definitely played into the side-by-side hands on Sunday, didn't it? Like, even watching some of the footage, some of the ruts down there were pretty solid.
Ben Scott and Anthony Lee rounded out the top 5 at Colo, whilst it was also great to see Dan Addard return to the track in his truck, George, taking home 8th outright. He's always spectacular.
Always a crowd favourite, mate. He holds that thing flat.
He does. George, also the same weekend as Colo, was the inaugural Miles 150, round 4 of the 2026 Queensland Aora Championship with 36 starters up there. And it looked like to be a great first event up there at Miles, hosted by the Brisbane Sporting Car Club. It was no surprise to see Tony Falaba take home the outright honours by 1.5 minutes over the informed Craig Crogg and side-by-side gun Conroy Devine.
Yeah, as you just said, it's no surprise to see Tony Falaba on top, mate. He definitely had a crack over the weekend, and it looked like it was a pretty good weekend for its inaugural round. Looked like an unreal race, to tell you the truth.
Well, reports they'll be back there next year. Start out at the Miles Historical Village. It was a bit of a cool opening to the weekend. And then, they turned I think it was around a 30k track, and I'm sure we'll see that bigger and better in 2027. And Nick Pye and Jason Keane, who's always thereabouts in his Class 10 Jimco, they crossed in 4th and 5th respectively. But, mate, Davey Mendham even was one of the last entries. He put down a pretty solid performance.
Yeah, mate. I've heard a couple of rumours that Dave ended up with a bit of a time penalty for taking a wrong turn, but that's what you get for not taking a navigator with you, Dave.
There you go. Breakthrough. I haven't heard that info, but Davey Mendham, he'll be lining up as a former champion at the Milbrodale Mountain Classic this weekend. We'll get to that later. The following weekend, Jord Racing returned to WA for round 2 of their championship at Bencubbin, and it was an emotional victory for Adam Truella in his late father's single-seat Racecar, who took the outright win by 2.5 minutes over Matty Deck, crossing 2nd, and Malcolm Yeardley in 3rd. And talk about wet conditions. I mean, this was the weekend before Finke and Nandaly, of course, but it looked brutal. I mean, Adam Truella talked to me a bit over socials. He said it was swampy out there in some sections of the track.
Yeah, she looked pretty solid there on the Sunday, eh? And for a few competitors to pull out, it must have been pretty bad.
Yeah, well, Jared Percival and overnight leader Stephen Kettleridge Hall there in that pro light, they didn't take the track on the final day. And Keith Rance, who was 2nd overnight, had engine issues with water getting in there. So he dropped, I think he finished 5th outright, so still had a respectable result. But yeah, Truella though, mate, it's his 4th career win now at Bencubbin. Back-to-back wins there. That's back-to-back victories to start his WA season. He also come 23rd at Finke the weekend after. He's on some run the last 4 or 5 years, and his results he's got as good as resume as anyone in Australian off-road racing. Yeah,
his results are definitely starting to show, but, mate, it would have been definitely an emotional victory for him, especially at Bencubbin in his old man's car. You can only imagine the emotions that he was going through, and good on him.
So next, Jord, on the calendar was the Nandaly 300, held down at Sea Lake over the June long weekend, round 4 of the Southern States Off-Road Club Challenge. And it was Griffith's Jason Richards who took home a superb 14-minute victory in his new V8 Sheila. Well, Richo's back. He had a bit of a up and down sort of start at Hillston. He did pull his entry out of Finke. He just wanted to get a bit more seat time before heading to a big race like Alice Springs. Fantastic to see him take home a win, though. Very dominant, as I said, 14 minutes. But, Richo, he's back.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car too, Tobe, and he drove the doors off that thing down Nandaly over that weekend, and he said 14 minutes. It's not a small margin, but we know he was always fast in his pro lot, but I think he's just stepped it up a level going into that pro car.
Evan Lampard brought his Southern Cross home in second, and Griffiths Rhett Stanton produced a massive drive rating at the outright podium in his Class 10, and he's another one. We know how Bowie Graham's gone over the years. There's some really quick Class 10 sports-like competitors, but Rhett Stanton's right up there.
Yeah, he's definitely making a charge, isn't he? He's only getting better every race he attends, mate.
Yeah. He was a bit emotional down at Hillston at the start of the year. Took home the Class 10 title and just inside the top 10 now. It's a great result to add to that for the season. Local Sea Lake competitor Joe Marshall and Tim Wilkinson ran it at the top 5 there at Nandaly. Sounded like got pretty nice and rough in areas through those trees there on that farm layout at Nandaly. It's around a 60k circuit. I think they do 5 laps over the weekend and always looks like a great time, and they sort of have a bit of a cruisy start into the weekend. A few beers Friday night. I think they watch the cars head off at Finke, do the prologue on Saturday morning, and they get into the action. It's a really nice, relaxed format down there. Yeah,
that sounds unreal, really. Picturesque weekend.
The perfect weekend for racing. Yeah, big result for Richo Jord, and we'll catch up with him later in the week on Falk's Hollow TV before he heads to Milbrodale this weekend, albeit in his Chenworth this weekend. So he's saving the big car for Waikerie in a few weeks' time, and that's going to be fascinating to see how he goes in the rough down there.
Yeah, you might bring the big girl up to Warrior, mate. Who knows?
You never know for Richo. Now, Jord, on our last recap tonight, and it was the big one, the 50th anniversary of the Finke Desert Race, and it was a massive couple of weeks in the Red Centre, Jord, for everyone involved. I mean, watched it from a couple of weeks out when all the teams started rolling in. And it was Travis Robinson, who was the first of the checkered flag on Monday morning. He opened up that commanding lead on the first leg down into Finke, Jord. I think he's around 9.5 in front in his all-wheel drive Mason, and he just continued, stayed very consistent on the way home, cruised in, and he got the job done. Travis Robinson at Finke, the last couple of years, he's been flawless, basically since his return to the off-road scene in Australia. But hats off to Travis Robinson, well deserved, and no one can take that away from him.
No, he's definitely, mate. He's the one to beat up there, but I don't think anyone will beat him from the reports that we heard on the Monday at the presentation. I think he's hanging the boots up and step back and head back once the kids are old enough, mate. But what a way to go out if it is the way that the pans out. He went out on top.
Of course, he had the heartbreak ORC at Rainbow in 2017 when he lost that clincher to Matty Martin, unfortunately, right at the death, and he's come back and he's really turned it on. 2 ORC titles, 2 Finke titles to his name, and as he said, he's not a record chaser. He's happy with what he's accomplished in the sport, and he's done his family proud and the ABR team, and he's going to sit back, support Bo, and I reckon he'll be back in the years to come when his kids, I'm sure they've got the bug already, and they'll be back racing it'll seem like no time. Boston Morgan Horde continued his rise in the ranks. Just punched out another very consistent, hard-charging weekend, and he got that geyser in the second spot, Jord. I think he had a flat going down, flat coming home. Hats off to young Boston Morgan Horn, and he's destined for a Finke title in years to come. Yeah,
I don't think it's very far away, Tobe. I think if he had no issues over this Finke just gone, I think him and Trav would have duelled it out. I think Trav might have had him with the all-wheel drive still, but I'll tell you what, some of that footage you see of Boston in that two-wheel drive truck going down there, mate, it's incredible what he does to that poor thing.
Provisional ORC leader Hayden Bentley also debuted his new Mason all-wheel drive truck. Likewise, Bo Robinson, who had a couple of flats going down that hampered his run, but he was very quick coming back. I mean, hats off to him for getting home in 13. But Hayden Bentley, returned to the podium for the first time since his win, almost two decades ago now, third spot, held off Mickey Zacker in fourth by 22 seconds. and Brad Gallard, who finished 25 seconds back in 5th. But Hayden Bentley is the provisional ORC leader, Jordan. He's had a great start to the year.
Yeah, what a debut with a new truck, And it looked like he ran flawless, and he was definitely up there with the pace. But yeah, you definitely can't take that away from him. But geez, poor old Mikey Zacker's unlucky, hey. He's at 3 or 4 years in a row now. He's run 4th outright. But man, it was incredible. Like, I remember I was sitting there watching it on the Monday, watching them come in, and then you see Bentley come in, and then Zacher come in, and then Gallard come in, like all in that one frame of each other. You don't see that over, 250 Ks of racing, but it wasn't even that. They were that close, buddy, going down the Finke as well.
Yeah.
That's an unreal battle from 3rd to 5th.
Yeah, it was all weekend long. So, yeah, I mean, it was a fascinating weekend. I know that one of the highlights for you and I was seeing our good mate Russ Cullen and Jamie Beck bring home the Kingswood. Geez, didn't that go viral?
Yeah, mate. No, Russ, he's a superstar now, and you're going to have to get him to send us over a couple of FHTV hats with a signature on them, I reckon.
Definitely. Auction them off at the presentation somewhere. Yeah, no, it was a pleasure watching his progress. I got a sore finger refreshing the rally safe, just watching him track it, and at times it was going painfully slow for me, for my liking, but as he got a bit closer to town, it started refreshing a bit quicker, and he got the job done. 32 seconds in the end on the way home, so didn't have much breathing space, but yeah, he ticked that off the bucket list, and he'll be there for many years to come, helping the next generation of races, and that's one of Russ's main goals. Yeah,
it was. As you just said, it was one of my highlights of the weekend, mate. Like, yeah, we watched the top, but I was the same as you, refreshing it to see where Russ is, and me and Hannah were both up you when we couldn't find him and didn't know where he was.
He went missing a few times.
Where big Russ was.
Yeah, that's it. Another good moment for me was seeing Glennie Ackroyd and Mick Price crossing for the side-by-side champions this year. They've been up to Finke in the side-by-side class nearly since its inception over a decade ago now, and a lot of heartbreak over the years in Alice Springs, but one thing I am sure of, that they would have celebrated in style on Monday night at the casino.
A few mini beers on Monday, Arvo, you reckon?
Plenty. Awesome to see. We interviewed him pre-Finke. Mark Burrows, he was sensational, and also Shannon Wrench. Shannon, I think, had a few engine issues over the course of the couple of days, but Mark Burrows, I think he crossed home in 6th, and he was very strong.
Yeah, the old legend. He's still got it, mate, doesn't he? And Wrench, he's the same. He's been away from the sport for, 2 years now, and walks in, and you said he had a few issues, but still had a really good run down and back, didn't he?
Yeah, 100%. So, that's Finke for 26. We'll bring you more of the Finke wrap on a later episode. Got a couple of things in the pipeline, but it's a bit of a catch-up show. We only got a 4 week or 2 behind Jordan. There's about 5 or 6 events piled up behind you, but that's all right. We're ticking them off and trying to cover as much as we can. Back on the actual track itself, well, by all reports, Greg Gardner, he had a great run down. We also saw Travis Robinson, Paul Curry alluded to it. The roughest Finke they reckon they've ever done. So for Travis Robinson to set the quickest ever time of 1 hour 36, the roughest ever Finke, and Mark Burrows said the same thing. Hayden Bentley says he doesn't know how he's still doing it. It was that rough, but extraordinary to hear that from the drivers. But pre-Finke, I heard that there was a lot of talk about it being too smooth with some of the grader work being done, but that didn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, I think they might have only graded the entry road, mate. I don't think they've done anything to the track, but not from any reports that I've got anyway. But they reckon she was definitely a rough one.
Now on our only event preview for tonight's episode, this weekend's big one, the Milbrodale Mountain Classic for 2026, celebrating 40 years of the Hunter Valley Offroad Racing Association. It's round 4 of the New South Wales Off-Road Championship, and it looks like it's going to be an unreal weekend down there, Jord. 51 entries at time of recording, including many past champions, and it's certainly game on at Milbrodale this year. We both competed there, been there a number of times. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get down there this weekend, but Jord, always a cracker of a race, and there is some serious quality lining up.
There are some serious competitors going down there this weekend, Tobe, and it's always a great weekend down there, mate, and always remember waking up on the Sunday morning in particular when you've done the first heat of short course and the sunrise coming up over the mountains and the fog and it's unreal down there. It really is.
There is so many potential winners. 2025 champion, of course, Glennie Ackroyd is back to defend his title and his Maverick R for the win at Finke. Former champs Josh and Ali Howes are primed for another crack at the mountain. Justin Guy will be there, returning to Milbrodale. Likewise, two-time runner-up Matty Huxley. Past winners Matty Martin and Dave Dangerous Mendham. Tommy Dixon will be in the field. Johnny Towers, Jason Richards, Jono Patterson, Ben Scott, Glenn Spizzo, Clinton Glennon, Chris Holgate. Mate, we've got a race on our hands. Who are you picking at Milbrodale this year?
Out of the 51 entries going, there's 20 cars that can win that outright.
Yeah.
But for the weekend, I reckon I'm going to have to go with Tommy Dixon. In the Crumco after his efforts at Colo, and very unlucky, but I think he can really hit the legs of that thing down there.
Yeah.
I think Matty Huxley too. I think he'll be up there pushing as well. And I'm reckon a couple of pro light competitors too. I'm going to go with Johnny Towers and Richo as well, mate. They're every chance of bloody winning that event too.
Yeah, I think it's, as you said, 20. I think Dave Mendham that year, like one of the years I was down there, I think he woke up 7/8 on Sunday morning and took home the title. So anything can happen at the mountain, and until you come around down off that mountain on that last lap on Sunday afternoon, it is anyone's game. I want to go Josh Howes. I like what he did at Hillston. I believe they're trying to back up at Waikerie the weekend after too, so that could be a bit of a storyline there. And I think Jason Richards will be really hard to beat in his channel if he's had a lot of seat time this year, and he'll be pushing hard. Matty Huxley's always there, and you cannot rule out Glennie Ackroyd. If he gets in the mix in his Can-Am Maverick R, he's going to be pushing hard late. So I'll go Josh Howes and Ali Howes. How can we not put her in our selections? I think she was 5th last year. She won it in 24. And I think she was 2nd in 23. So her track record at Milbrodale is very, very impressive. So, yeah, we wish everyone all the best down there. In other news, unfortunately, for the Spencer Gulf Off-Road Association, the Segura Sprint 250 at Port Germain had to be cancelled on Saturday due to huge rain overnight, which was a shame for everyone involved, and it looked very wet. I was talking to Ian Barker, the track owner, down there first thing Saturday morning. I said, how's things looking, mate? And he sent me a few pictures, and they told the story. 37 mils overnight, they weren't racing, and yeah, I mean, it's always a tough decision, but it had to be made, and for the safety of everyone involved, but always a cracker weekend down there, and I'm sure they'll move on to the next round. Entries are also open, Jord, for round 3 of the ORC Love Day, with round 2 of the ORB Championship. The Waikerie Enduro also fast approaching in SA, with more coming from that event soon. Paddo's 7-hour Enduro is also taking place this weekend in Charters Tower, so we wish all the competitors in North Queensland all the best. Anyway, Jord, it's always a pleasure you joining me, mate, from sunny Gunnedah. We just had to make things do this week. It is a lot easier sitting beside you than looking at you through a screen, but that's just what you got to do sometimes, mate, to get it to work.
Yeah, got to do what you got to do, mate. Can't pay the bills without money, and unfortunately, that's why I've got to come down here.
Very true. And the big fella was won, so big party this weekend.
Yeah, mate. Young fella's finally turned 1. Well, finally, I don't think Mum's trying to wish it away, but yeah, he's finally had his first birthday, and we had a cake with him, and yeah, birthday party this weekend. So look out, a few stubbies. And
how's your sports light car coming along, mate? We're going to see it on the track soon.
I have been doing a fair bit of work behind the scenes, so, but hopefully, I was hoping to get over to Dong Dingalong, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, I'd say probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you'll hear the SR20 up the scrub. So, keep an ear out.
And then we've got a Frogs Hollow TV representative up in Danes Creek in a couple of months' time too.
Yeah. Penny, she's very excited. Actually, she's been putting in a few hard laps up the scrub, and I think she bloody enjoys it more than I do. But I'll tell you what, when she's in the car, I can't wipe the smile off my face, and I know you've jumped in with her, and she can definitely steer it.
Still getting over the track, rough track. Anyway, Joel, that's a wrap on tonight's show. Thanks again for joining me. Good luck and safe racing to those competing at both Milbrodale and Charters Towers this weekend. But more importantly, stay tuned for the next episode of Frogs Hollow TV. Cheerio.